What's happening, fellas? Steeler here, back again with yet another video. Yes, I'm doing great. Let's just get past the formalities and get into the topic. Of course, after I say follow me on Twitter at dealer_gaming for all the latest fuckery, and also follow me on Xbox Live at II dealer II. And let's get right into the news. Alright, so basically Phil Spencer confirms he is meeting with Japanese publishers within the next week or so. And as always, I will link this stuff down below for you to check out for the delusional crack babies that say I just make things up. I don't know what kind of pine saw you're huffing. I always link the source in every single video. But anyway, yes, he is confirming he is meeting with Japanese publishers here soon. And that's great. As I've always said, options are good, and Phil is going to attempt to get some of these more traditionally Japanese titles onto the Xbox platform. Now, some will say, well, they won't sell. Well, you got to look at it over the long term. You know, these games are going to be in the marketplace for the next decade. You know, keep in mind, Xbox is a platform forever now, right? So your games are always going to work for now on. x86 architecture. It's a magic word, right? So that means basically these games are going to work on every Xbox from now on, and they could potentially sell something like Neo over the next 10 or so years. And collectively, who knows? It may amount to something. But, you know, are these games going to please everybody? Probably not. But, hey, options are great. At least Phil is trying. He also goes in detail about how important backwards compatibility is for the platform. And I'll read you his quote directly. He says, "Our games, old and new, have to show why somebody would choose Scorpio. I feel really good about our progress in that." Right, and that's just one small part of this article. Now, a lot of this came from Twitter. Phil has always been great with going back and replying to people on Twitter, and he's just done a great job here recently of letting more information out there, and you're going to start to see these floodgates open as we get ever closer to E3. Now, regarding backwards compatibility, he's basically saying, hey, new or old, these games are running better, they're performing better, they're holding their frame rates better, and hey, some games probably even have better graphics, because we do know this generation developers are not only using dynamic rendering scaling, like going from 720 to 900 to 1080, depending on how many FPS you have available as overhead, but they're also using dynamic graphics scaling like The Witcher 3. If you notice in the dialogue scenes on Xbox One and PS4, they actually activate a few high-end features that are not usually activated in normal gameplay. So during dialogue, you notice that HBAO lighting, you know, that lighting that hits Geralt's beard that makes it look so realistic, it's ridiculous. That's an example of HBAO, horizon-based ambient occlusion. This is the type of stuff you're going to see in pretty much every single game on Scorpio. They might deactivate it for the Xbox One version, but for the Scorpio version, you'll see these technologies ramped up to the max. And, you know, like I said, hopefully we get a lot of that dynamic render and graphics scaling enabled on older Xbox One titles. That would be fucking awesome. And real quick, since we're at the end of the video, quick poll in the comments below. Some of you have been asking to show you the performance that around 6 teraflops can give you. I have the technology, I have the power. I can do that now with my RX 480 and Radeon Relive. Let me know. I can do some benchmarks. I can show you that with less than 6 teraflops, you will be crushing 4K on Xbox One Scorpio. But of course, I'm going to leave it up to you. Be sure and like, comment, share, and subscribe if you're into this kind of shit. As always, I'm Dealer, and I'm out, fellas.